It's about to be 4 months since the release of Modern Warfare 3, and I thought today would be a great time to go back and look at the game, what it meant, and what it could have been. We will dive deeper into the reasons for its failure and how they could have been avoided. We will also take a look at its predecessors and compare them to Modern Warfare 3. If we take a look back at the marketing of the game, it was top tier. They revealed Vladimir Makarov, the ultranationalist that has been behind every single disaster in Modern Warfare and the ultimate threat to Task Force 141 and Captain Price. They revealed him in an extremely cool live action trailer with the badass song 6 Days playing behind it that reminded me instantly of Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. It got me hyped, and I thought that we were about to get the biggest and baddest Call of Duty campaign of all time. And Activision absolutely ran with it. On their official page before releasing the game, they announced the following. For the first time in back-to-back years, Call of Duty returns with a direct sequel as Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 picks up immediately following the events of last year's incredible blockbuster Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. This all-new experience allows players for the first time to continue their journey, progression, and story seamlessly for a new year to come. Now, this made it sound almost epic. They made you believe that you'd be getting a campaign equal to or better than Modern Warfare 2 in just 1 year, and you would continue the experience so seamlessly that you wouldn't even notice the difference. Well, that clearly didn't happen. They teased Makarov like a supervillain, and honestly, they pulled on the nostalgia that you would feel by remembering his savagery in the original Modern Warfare series. They began to tease these open combat missions, and some people were in favor, comparing them to potentially Ghost Recon Wildlands. Some believed that the combat missions would be experimental and would only be about 50% or less of the actual campaign. Fans still expected the story-driven linear campaigns that truly made the series great. Other fans seemed doubtful and expressed their concern that these missions would only be filler missions due to a lack of story. And looking back at it now, those people were completely right. And look, in theory, they could have been good and definitely mixed up the gameplay. And I'm talking about the open combat missions. But to tell you the truth, I don't remember anyone complaining about Modern Warfare 2019's level design at all. If anything, it was praised for its realism and linear nature. Another thing that I'd like to highlight is the campaign trailer for the game, which was 31 seconds long, and it teased a cinematic globe-trotting experience that still gives me goosebumps. And if you don't remember it, let's take a quick look.
If you control what people believe, you control the world.
Makarov's writing his own rules.
My comrades, we stand reunited!
He wants a war.
The time has come to show them the meaning of true power.
Now, back then, I believe that the 31 seconds was due to the fact that they didn't want to reveal too much, when in reality, the trailer was almost as long as the entire campaign. I'm exaggerating, of course, but not by much. Lastly, before we move on, I want to touch on the campaign premiere trailer. They really reeled us in with that reveal. It showed us the first mission of the game, and it was a beautiful looking mission. It began with a powerful shot of the Gulag where Makarov was detained, and we quietly move into the prison compound and we begin to pick apart the prison guards in a linear and more traditional way. It gave us the sense that everything was going to be fine and we were going to begin another great chapter in this current Modern Warfare series. If only all of the missions following that would have been similar to that one. But in reality, the missions looked like this. With all of that out of the way, I want to take a look at Modern Warfare 2019 and 2022's Modern Warfare 2. I would like to compare them to Modern Warfare 3 in terms of reviews and structure, and talk a little bit about all three of them as a whole. Thank you for joining me, and let's begin. See, Modern Warfare was rebooted in 2019. It would begin a new trilogy after the original ended back in 2011. It would take a new and more modern approach to the characters we previously met. It seems like they also wanted to make it more realistic, and of course that can be argued, but that was the goal and its intentions. The first game of the trilogy did amazingly well. It felt fresh, new, and it looked like the revival that Call of Duty needed. It was finally a win after so many years. The story felt like it was grounded and centered. It felt like it had elements of realism. The war shown felt real and gut-wrenching, while the performances of every single actor involved were praised. The mission structure was brilliant throughout, with some missions being filled with explosions and attacks coming from all angles, and it felt like you were in the middle of a war zone. While other missions like the critically praised Clean House dropped you into London and it put you inside a townhouse where you had to move quietly and slowly to dismantle a house full of terrorists. It didn't feel too big or too overstuffed. It was just perfect. I particularly liked the characters in the game like Alex and Captain Price. It felt like the game could stand on its own, and it felt different enough from the previous games. So I waited anxiously for the first time in years for a Call of Duty to release so I could enjoy its story once again, because the game teased a sequel and I just couldn't wait. So 3 years later, finally in 2022, we get the sequel, Modern Warfare 2. And it introduced fan favorites John Soap McTavish and Simon Ghost Riley. The game would tackle once again the backstabbing General Shepard and his shadow company. Well, the game was also good and it scratched the itch for the Modern Warfare series. It received a slightly lesser rating and many viewed it as being too big, like a Hollywood film. Many also believed that the game lost some of its grittiness and realism that was shown in the first game. But in my opinion, it was perfect. And I don't know why, but I love seeing more of Captain Price, seeing Ghost, Soap, and everyone else involved taking the bad guys down. I felt like it was the first game but bigger, and it took the time to give us more missions like Clean House where we can slow it down a little bit because so many fans enjoyed it. I think the addition of Alejandro and Los Vaqueros was great, while the charismatic and savage commander Graves steals the show. He quickly became one of the most likable characters. He felt real, he felt natural, and he felt cool. When his betrayal happened, I was taken completely by surprise, and I felt that Modern Warfare 2 lived up to its potential, and it was only up from there. The ending of the game teased the big bad of the series, Vladimir Makarov, and it teased one of the most savage and controversial missions in the franchise's storied history. No, Russian. The stage was set, and I prepared myself for another 2 to 3 year wait for Modern Warfare 3. I guess I was expecting the game to come out sometime in 2025, but Activision decided that the game was to come out in 2023, one freaking year since the release of 2, and I was immediately bothered by this. I thought there's no way that they can turn around this quickly. Not for this story, not for these characters. Modern Warfare 3 needs to be the biggest and their best story yet. And in my eyes, I didn't believe that they wanted to or believe they could mess it up. The formula was there. All they needed to do was follow it. Either go real and gritty like the first one or go a little bit bigger and keep the same energy. Well, what we got was actually complete and utter trash. The game let everyone down. And it let me down. And it let me down in ways that I didn't think it could. Modern Warfare 3 is the worst Call of Duty game ever. Not even IGN could back it up. IGN's review reads as follows: underbaked, rehashed, and cobbled together from multiplayer parts. Modern Warfare 3's single-player campaign is everything a Call of Duty story mode shouldn't be. That basically sums it up. And I do not agree much with IGN, but holy crap did they hit the nail on the head with this one. The game didn't even feel like a story campaign. It felt like you were playing Warzone without the guys, and they threw a couple cinematics on it. What I think hurt the most was that in Modern Warfare 1 and Modern Warfare 2, I was personally looking forward to the cutscenes and the gameplay because it felt worth it, like a payoff. But Modern Warfare 3 made me want to run through everything so fast just so I can get to the story, because that's really all I cared about. The gameplay was a rehash of multiplayer. That's it. That's all. I cannot say any more. Modern Warfare 3 literally ruined what was almost a home run of trilogy of games. Like I said earlier, my original point is that the game doesn't even feel like the Modern Warfare that we got used to. And sadly, even the characters take a hit. Captain Price feels like a shadow of his former self, at least for most of the game. And I don't even know what Gas did in Modern Warfare 3. Alex from the first game looks like a completely different person, and Ghost just seems like he wasn't even supposed to be there. Graves barely gets any significant screen time, and Soap is used as shock value. And all this begs the question, what happened to Modern Warfare 3's campaign? Well, if you sum it up, it's probably stupidity and greed. According to many reports that were later denied by Activision officials, it was believed that Modern Warfare 3 was originally being developed as an expansion to Modern Warfare 2, but it was later scrapped due to them wanting to sell it at full price and, you guessed it, make more money. Another theory out there is that Modern Warfare 2's budget was so big that it couldn't give the same amount to Modern Warfare 3. Apparently, the budget for the second game was over $250 million. But I really truly just don't believe that at all. I'm sure that they make well over that with Warzone alone. And in reality, I would assume that the executives in charge that want and only care about money and couldn't care less about what the fans think are really the main people to blame over this disastrous game. And it's a pity because the way that I saw Modern Warfare's campaign was great. It may not be the most realistic or the most groundbreaking game ever created, but it was like a really good war film, at least in my opinion. Now, something that's been on my mind is, what does this do for the reputation of Call of Duty? This is a question that I've thought about for a long time. And the reason is because on a personal level, I really felt like I was done with Call of Duty for a long time, and I didn't want to play the campaigns anymore. I got to the point that I would buy the game only to play multiplayer with my uncle, and when Warzone released, that is all I played. I didn't believe in Call of Duty at all. But then one day in early 2020, I decided to play Modern Warfare 2019's campaign, and I think it was because my favorite YouTuber, Hollow or Hollow Point, played it on his channel. And the first mission he did looked spectacular, and so much so that I wanted to try for myself. Well, I was completely blown away. The game revived in me a thirst for COD campaigns that I hadn't had for years. After it, I went back to play World War II, and then I pre-ordered Cold War and played the hell out of that campaign. In what felt like the snap of a finger, we had Modern Warfare 2 upon us. And I loved every aspect of that story. The new characters, the level design was great, like I've already mentioned, but all that happened in the short span of 2 to 3 years. I felt Call of Duty was back and I trusted them again. And I really didn't mind that the campaigns were 6, 7, or 8 to 10 hours long, as long as they were crafted beautifully and the cinematics showing the story were incredible. But with Modern Warfare 3, it feels like all of that was tossed out of the window. It feels like it's back to being a laughingstock, and its best years are behind them. And of course, this only pertains to the campaigns, since they are doing pretty damn well with multiplayer and zombies. But now I'm almost back to feeling the dread or sadness for a COD campaign. I think the reputation, which hasn't always been great, has gone back to square one with a lot of people. It just feels like Modern Warfare 3 killed the current hot streak that Call of Duty was on. Lastly, I'd like to say that Modern Warfare 3 didn't just let down the legions of fans that it has, but it also let down its cast and the characters that they were crafting. They all pretty much felt like lesser versions of themselves, and even the dialogues and cinematics were off. Now, the next Call of Duty scheduled for this year is set to take place during the 1990s Gulf War, and it will be a sequel to 2020's Cold War. Apparently, this one will look to change the Call of Duty campaigns forever and deliver us a truly great single-player experience. But only time will tell if Call of Duty can come back once again after the Modern Warfare 3 disaster. Thank you so much for joining me, you guys. If you enjoyed this, please remember to give it a like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I'll see you in the next video.